I don't know if y'all can see this from the audience, but Mr. Kayvan here has fangs in today. He's ready. Oh, mics are a little low right now, guys.
Mic check, check.
There we go.
Hello.
Yes.
Can everybody hear me? My fangs in just for you.
When you have the fangs in, do you find yourself having to do the accent? Like, you can't avoid it?
You did the accent without the fangs.
What
Can you? I feel like I would have a lisp.
What accent?
Yeah.
I'm doing an accent? No, yeah, I find it. This is my normal voice. Sorry. Sorry, I know. It's always a bit awkward. Are you? No, that's not me. Yes, is it? Yes, it is. It is me, yes. Yeah, I mean, the first time I wore the fangs, I definitely talked with a bit of a lisp. So that's just, what came out, I guess.
Now you're a master at it, though.
Yes.
After 5 to 6 seasons,
Yes.
yeah, exactly. Well, I am such a fan of the show. I love all of the topics that it delves into, while also being such a funny, lighthearted comedy that I always laugh at. And it predated, there was a movie, obviously, for everybody that knew. Before you auditioned, were you familiar with the film? Or did you get the audition and be like, what is this mockumentary about vampires? Gotta watch the movie first.
I was a big fan of the movie. I loved the movie. And when I got the audition, I thought, oh my God, this is incredible. I'd love to be in this. I'm never going to get it. And then I did. So, yeah. So dreams do come true, guys. Just keep dreaming.
I had not watched the movie, but it was weirdly enough in queue on my Amazon to watch. I was like, you might like this. And I was like, don't tell me what to do. Okay, don't. And weirdly enough, I got invited to wine and cheese night. And at that party, someone that I didn't know, just like a random stranger, was like, you're really funny. You should audition for my fiance's new show. And I was like,
Don't tell me what to do.
Don't tell me what to do. I don't like when people tell me what to do.
You can't afford me.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't do those kind of films anymore. And so like, what? I was like, just nothing. So their fiance was a producer for the show, and they had already cast Kayvan. They cast Natasha and Matt and Mark. Everyone was cast except for this one role, Guillermo, and didn't have a last name. And so I was like, sure, who's the casting director? And it was Allison Jones. And so I was like, oh my God, if you know, Allison Jones cast everything, like The Office, Bridesmaids, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So we're like, yeah, probably someone I should know, like a good person. And so I auditioned for her thinking I'm gonna, nail it, but I don't know if I was right for the part because Guillermo was 20 years older. So I was like, I gotta make myself look older. So I found this ugly sweater vest, this long sleeve orange shirt, these Harry Potter glasses that I popped the lens out of. And then I parted my hair in the middle because I had a picture of Guillermo del Toro's monster book, his illustration, and he had his hair part in the middle. I was like, that looks like a Guillermo. And so I did that, thinking no one on television would ever look like this. And make sure the choices you make, you want to live with. I live with that choice because when I got the part, Taika was like, "No, what you wear for the audition?" And I was like, "Oh, I wore that. Yeah, that." And it was like, in the hair department was like, "Yeah, no, the way you did for the audition." I was like, "What?" So I molded Guillermo, and they kept everything. I was like, "Oh no, what have I done?" And so that's how I got the part.
Well, I mean, you kind of gave them the character. They were like, that's our Guillermo right there.
Yeah, because at one point they didn't know if it was like, it was older than I was, but they didn't know if they wanted to make it a female or a male or older. And yeah, at one point, I think Natasha was saying that her brother Jamie was up for Guillermo. Jamie Dimitri. And I was like, that would have been an interesting take. Guillermo de la Cruz played by Jamie Dimitri. But I got it, so that's all that matters, I guess. Yeah.
I'm sure he would have done a great job, but I would speak for everybody to say that we're very happy that it was you that got
Me
cast.
too.
I'm not.
I would like to ask, y'all's chemistry, I've seen a couple interviews with you both. Your chemistry on and off set is so wonderful. Did you have a chemistry read, or did they make you go on like a trip to be like team building exercise? Or did you see each other first day and you're just great actors and you're like, sup, buddy?
I was supposed to have a chemistry with Kayvan because they already cast him. And well, they didn't want to give me the role. I was the wild card. They said, you're too young for the role, so you're the wild card means that if they can't find anyone else, they'll consider you. And I was waiting for weeks, and they already cast them. They were starting production that Tuesday after Martin Luther King Monday, a holiday, and I hadn't heard anything like like it was like Sunday, that Sunday of that week. And I was like, I didn't get it. So me and my sister were like window shopping at a mall, like trying to get my mind off of it. And this number kept calling, and I kept ignoring it. And I was like, God, give me a sign. Did I get it? Shut up. I'm waiting for a sign. And it's like, it kept ringing, and finally my sister's like, will you answer the fucking phone? And then I was like, hello. So, hey, is this Harvey? And I was like, yes. Hey, it's Taika and Jermaine. Yes, I'm testing for your show. And they're like, no, you're not testing. And I was like, oh, thank you so much for the opportunity. I wish you the best. Like, I thought they were calling, like, like, sorry, we went another direction. Sometimes they do that. But no, he said I got it, and the holiday was Monday. I had to call my agents and tell them I got it. And then Tuesday was a fitting. And Wednesday, I was like on set with Kayvan, and I was like, please let there be chemistry, like, because it could go, south really quickly. And the first thing Kayvan goes, hey, man! And he just like gave me a hug, and I just met this stranger, but was the warmest person to greet me on set. So I was like, oh, this was like, it was.
I was the only person to greet you.
Tea. Yeah, so it was really nice to like have a friend on set from the get-go, because I'm like, getting thrown into something that was already in motion. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good, wonderful, like, immediate friends situation. Very nice. I know that with all shows, there's usually like favorites in the cast, but I find that what we do in the shadows is like blanket statement across the board. Everybody has such strong characters, and everybody like loves each one separately. And there's just always, oh, I'm a Nadja fan. Oh, I'm a Nandor fan. Oh, I love Guillermo. How does it feel that you have such strong reactions of love after 6 seasons? Because a lot of shows don't make it that far, and this room is full. And how does that make you feel?
I mean, it feels incredible just to meet you guys and just to be here with you now. It feels wonderful. It's a very special feeling, and I feel truly blessed that I get a chance. I talk like this. So I feel very, very blessed indeed that I get to say hi to you, and you come say hi, and it's amazing. I know a lot of actors out there never actually get to experience this kind of level of love. So thank you all very much for coming today. Does mean a lot. Does mean a lot.
It does. We're really grateful. Like everywhere whenever we get to meet fans, they're just the most loving. Because you can also be a fan and like be not the nicest people. You know what I mean? That's a choice. But every fan that we've met has been supportive, and like feel like it just runs in like the world of this fan base for the show. That like even though it's a dark comedy, and it's about vampires, and we push some jokes to the limit, the people who watch the show are usually really sweet, tender like people. So thank you for being so lovely. Yeah.
I think the crossover of the fact that the show is like inherently queer, I would say, like vampires in general are inherently queer, speaks to
What's queer?
Our show.
Oh boy.
I love that about being a queer person myself. Like I love that the show shows these vampires living their lives, their queer authentic lives, and we never make it a topic of conversation. It's never what is their demise. It's never what like, oh, but they're queer. You know what I mean? It's like they live their lives, and we make the world that they live in. It's just like it's funny in other ways. It's not funny because they're queer. Like the vampires are all like Laszlo and Nandor are finishing each other off in the room because they didn't finish, and it's just a dialogue. It's like conversation, and it's never like it's like I think they're queer. It's like it's never like that, and I think because of that, because we never made it a point. It's never because people forget that when they watch the show, and we have people who don't know that it's queer. They completely overlook that part. They're like, we're somewhere like, I love that show. It's like everyone's so fun and blah blah. It's like, yeah, it's great to have queer representation. What? It's definitely a queer show, and it's like, oh, I love that show. And then they start questioning this. What if I love that show? What is that sitting your? Oh, it's like you're not gonna turn queer just by watching the show, but you can you can appreciate our show and be like, oh, that's right, and see how seamless it was. You can be living your life amongst queer people and let them live their lives, and like their sexuality is none of your business, you know.
Doesn't necessarily have to be a topic. Like when Guillermo's family was like, we know they're vampires, what?
Yeah.
Which I love that about the show. It's great.
It's that coming out episode was my favorite episode that I did because it was so close to like my personal like, oh, this is really close to home, you know. But the idea that like coming out is always like, it always bothers me as a queer person when we say, when did you come out? When did you come out? Because a queer person doesn't wake up and say, oh my gosh, I'm queer. I better tell everyone. You know, like no, like people wake up like I think and you struggle with your own, you know, sexuality and asking yourself, what do I do? What does this mean? Blah blah blah. And so when people come out, they're not really coming out. It shouldn't be called coming out. It should be called letting you in. Because I let you in, you know.
I know we have a big line, and I don't want a bunch of vampires to come get me if I don't let them start asking questions, but I do have one. I know that it is sadly going to be the last season coming up. Hopefully there will be a spin-off. I feel like it's very popular to maybe want to steal something from set or take something home. Okay, I didn't want to get you in
Don't beat around the bush. We got a line.
Okay. Was there anything that you took home that we would recognize or be like, oh my God, they took the glitter poster home, the glitter portrait?
I wanted the glitter portrait, but you stole that 3 seasons ago.
I took it after the pilot.
Yeah.
Because after the pilot, you don't know the show's gonna get picked up. You're like, yoink.
Yeah, but it was picked up.
But it wasn't picked up at the moment.
Yeah, like the prop department been looking for that fucking portrait for 5 seasons.
You've got to make it again.
Say, Harvey, yeah, you see that portrait, that glitter portrait?
Why is our prop master?
I don't know. This show ain't queer, is it, my kid? Got a green ass here. Mind if I look in there for that glitter portrait?
And they looked for it for a while, and I told them, I was like, I have it, but I didn't know that they needed it, so. But you took some painting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when the show ended. When they had no more use for them.
What else did you take? Did you take anything else?
That's it.
That's it.
And the teeth.
And the teeth, yeah, the original fangs. I took my fangs that I used one episode. They look good. Yeah. But I think everyone took something that was nostalgic. I wanted to take that lamp in the lobby or the foyer of the like a hotel, the lobby, the foyer of the mansion. But I think Yana got that, our director, because she really wanted that red lamp that's right by the staircase and goes down. It's really goth at night. You turn it off, it's black, and then when you turn it on, it's red. Yeah, I wanted that one.
The prop masters have to make you a second one.
It's gone. They demolished it. What
Well,
else would you have taken if you could?
I would have taken the cast home with me because I got to say that I've worked with the most incredible cast. You got to give it up for Matt, for Natasha, Mark,
Kristen,
Shawnee, yeah. It's been
a pretty amazing cast.
It's been amazing. I mean, yeah.
I agree. Well, we'll go ahead and start with audience questions. If you could introduce your name and go ahead and ask your question.
Hi, my name is Christian.
Height also, please.
Height and social security number.
I was to ask you if you guys have done theater. What's your favorite Shakespeare play?
Shakespeare.
I'm more of a Moliere kind of guy. I mean, no, I do like The Merry Wives of Windsor.
I did Macbeth at drama school.
There you go.
All right.
Thank
I
you.
mean, Juliet's a go-to. It's fine. Yeah. Problematic, killing yourself for.
We could do a spin-off where it's Romeo and Juliet, but it's Nando and Guillermo. Except when I wake up and you take the poison, I'm like, yes.
See, it's a one episode run.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi, I'm Chippy.
Chippy!
What does your T-shirt say?
I love gays.
Over to you.
So what we do in the shadows is obviously beloved by a lot of people. So I was wondering what you think or hope the lasting legacy of the show will be.
I think it's going to be very personal, very subjective. I think you take away from the show what you want, really. So as long as people enjoy it and they laugh, and yeah, that's.
I think on the same note, I feel that the show means so much to different people for different reasons. Like I've had people come up to me and at cons, like, you know, and they say, "Can my dad and I we love this show so much, and he was going through like chemo or something, and unfortunately he's not well enough to be here. Can we FaceTime?" You know, or stuff like that, where like the show means so much bonding for families. Like sometimes it's weird because it's like a mother and daughter, and the daughter's like 10. I'm like, I don't think she should watch a show. And they're like, no, we love the show. I make her watch it, even though she doesn't wanna. I'm like, no, don't watch it. So she knows you from, you know, Thundermans, or she knows you from the cartoons. But I told her, no, he's in the show. You're gonna watch with me. So it means a lot to different people for different reasons. And I think the one thing I have noticed is that families have been bonding over the show. Like during the pandemic, this was the show that people were watching during a really rough time, or they would Zoom with their families because they were all isolated in different parts of the world, or, you know, the States and whatnot. And for me, that's such a cool thing because, you know, we're not first responders, we're not doctors. At least I'm not. I know Kayvan lost his, his practicing degree. But like the idea that we don't give, like, you know, we're not doctors, but we could give you an escape. And as actors, that's what our job is to like take you away for a little bit and make you believe what we're living. And so doing that has been such a nice kind of, I don't know, therapeutic thing to watch other people go through. So it's been nice. I think that's a legacy I think the show will take for me.
Thank you.
Sorry, I'm nervous.
Be
nervous. Hello. My name's Adriana, and I just wanted to know what the hardest like shot or special effect to film was.
I'd say the first season for me, we did a lot of dangling on wires outside in the cold.
Yeah.
And that was a bit of a shock, especially if you forgot to wear your thermal underclothes.
And that night was the record of the coldest night in Canada.
It was, and we were up kind of 3 stories, dangling like, oh, we have empires, we are floating, we are freezing, we want to go home.
That was the Beanie episode. You were spying on Beanie's character, LARPing through the window of her dorm kind of thing. And they were outside in wires, and I was down looking at them, and the wind picked up, and they're tangling onto each other. Like they were like, and they looked like rag dolls up there, just like. Yeah, that was a cold night. It was really cold. Even the crew, who's from Canada, was like, "We're going inside." I'm like, "Wait, but they're under the wires." And then like,
I mean, it's really to fly and to float and to do all that and fight scenes, and amazing stunt team we had.
yeah, I think.
Yeah, it's as scary as it is exhilarating.
Yeah, for me, it was doing my first stunt when I fall out of the 3rd-story window.
That wasn't you.
They say was me. I have footage of it's me.
Bullshit.
Oh my god. Usually that's what people think when I say I do my own stunts. For the most part, like people don't believe it. My mom didn't believe me, and I was like, "Look, mom," just like, "Oh, goodness, like who is that?" And I was like, "It's me."
Not your son.
And she goes, "Okay." I was like, "What? That's me." Oh, okay. Like it's like I could tell you think I'm lying. And she's like, no. And I was like, "Okay, mom." But that was probably the one because I wanted to prove that I could do stunts. I was like, "Yeah, I could do it." Because Tig was like, "Are you sure you can go up to the 3rd floor? You do better, Tig." You do. And yes, you do. And then me doing that and then looking at playback and then me like, "Wow, that looks so cool." When I flip people off and I fall out of the window, the vampires. That was so cool. And I was like, "Oh my gosh," but I could have broken my neck. Like I could have easily it's like 3 stories and then you fall down on the mat or whatever. And then I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And they're like, "Okay, let's do it again." What? And they're like, "Well, we have to do several takes. We can't just do one. We had to get it over and over and over." And I'm like, but I didn't show. I was like, yeah, totally. I'm cool with that. But stunts are harder than you look. I think the most daring one, our fight scene in the what do you call it, the night market.
Oh yeah.
Then one take, Kayvan, who like up until then hadn't really done like much like sword fighting or anything on the show, like at all, right? And he like trained with it, like it was like a ballet, like whatever. And one of the things that he did was thrust the sword into like the shield from the trash can lid. And in one of them, he really thrust it and the knife went through. Do you remember that? like it went through, and then our stunt coordinator's like, oh, that wasn't supposed to happen. And we're like, and so it goes through, and it's like, I'm like, and Kayvan's like, he kept going, he's like stuck, and I was like, it really went through. Stop stabbing this, but we kept going, and I think that's the take they ended up using. So when you guys see that I almost died,
Don't tell OSHA. Don't tell OSHA.
more like it really worked. So I think that's the biggest stunt I think we did, yeah.
Thank
Great
you guys.
question.
She's like, I asked you what your favorite color was. Not on topic.
Hi, my name's Sophie, and speaking of families, I just got my dad into the show. He's just finished it and is rewatching it, and he has a burning question. Keep in mind, he's like 60. Do you feel there's any comparison between your cast and the ensemble of Seinfeld? I think there is a similarity with how they are self-centered and indifferent to society.
The age-old archetype, the Seinfeld archetype.
I think that if you look hard enough, you can see a little bit of past favorite characters. I think in any show, usually, like we even have an episode where Matt says he's like, I know for a fact I'm a Samantha, and it's like that was a Sex and the City quiz, and it's like, Kim Cattrall, I think that there's like, you want to see your favorites from the past, in the new shows that you see. Like, people would compare us to like The Office or something, like with vampires. And that was something we got a lot in the first season. But I think it's different, like I think 'cause it's a mockumentary like The Office, but it's a completely different world. In this world, we have people who are eating pizza pie and vomiting profusely in the sky, It's a little different, but I could see it, a little similarities. Yeah, maybe, sure. Can you?
Tell him, great question. Yeah.
Your dad does know it's a queer show, right?
Yes,
gonna
he
haunt me.
does.
What episode is he on?
He has finished it and is rewatching it.
Well done, Dad.
Good question.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Maura, and my question would be, because I know Guillermo worked up at Panera, if Guillermo and Nandor went to Panera, what would their orders be? I know Nandor can't eat human food, but I just think the question would be funny. If he saw something, what would he want?
No, but I'd order something to kind of.
Oh, to mask that you're not a vampire.
Yes.
Got it.
What's your go-to Panera
I go
order?
to like broccoli cheddar soup. Broccoli cheddar soup.
Hi, could I get the broccoli cheddar soup, please?
That's my favorite.
Shut up.
Maybe one of those supercharged lemonades that kill people.
Maybe.
What is your Panera order?
The mac and cheese bread bowl.
Oh, good one.
All right,
I don't think I've had
thank
that. I
you.
gotta try that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
It's a great
Hello
outfit.
there. Come on in.
Right.
Hey.
Hey, my name is T. Osa, and this question is for Harvey. I think the character of Guillermo is one of my favorite characters on television, just like the way his like slayometer, like his cuntometer just keeps going up. Every season. It's like my favorite thing ever. So did you have any like, I guess, did you know like how his character would progress like throughout the seasons? And did you have like any input into like, how his character is now?
No, I didn't know. I don't think we knew anything about our character's arc at all, like the first season, because we still did to the end, shoot out of order. But with the vampires, I think it was a little bit easier to make it linear because every episode they would revolve around like they learn how to use the internet. They get a phone call from Bloody Mary, But with Guillermo, they didn't tell me anything like going forward. He didn't have a last name. I had to ask Jermaine, can I give him a last name? And he goes, yeah, what you thinking? And I was like, I don't know. And at this point, I didn't know any like Van Helsing storyline. And I was like, I don't know, something like De la Cruz. And he was like, what's that mean? I was like, of the cross. And he goes, that's perfect. And I was like, okay, a little weird. Okay. And then I didn't find out until we had the actual table read, which is why I told Paul, our showrunner, I was like, can I know a little bit ahead of time? Just because I would like to mentally prepare and like because he's human. And like humans have consequences for the choices they make, I think if you live forever and you're immortal and like you have all the money and all the glamorous, beautiful clothes. Like you don't really care about the consequences of things, but he's human, and times, like the clock's ticking, So I didn't have really a say, except for like the family stuff. I was really adamant about like family household things. Like in the first season, we had the scene with my mom, and we were in the kitchen, and they were like, "What would be around the kitchen around this time?" And it was like, "It's the holidays, so maybe like buñuelos or something." And our prop master, she was great, but she Googled buñuelos, and they were like from El Salvador, and the family's Mexican, so they look completely different. And I was just like, "Oh, those are not buñuelos, like Mexican buñuelos." And they're like, "Oh, but that's what I Googled." And I was like, "No, but that's not the culture. Like, this is not." So I made buñuelos myself in the kitchen to like make them. And then they're like, "Harvey, we have to go." And I was like, "I know, but I couldn't live with myself to have a pile of not accurate Mexican buñuelos behind me." And then I thought about this. I was like, "Does this make me like a total like? Am I being a diva right now?" But it wasn't that, because to this day I have people come up to me. They're like, "And the buñuelos in that scene, I noticed them." So.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Clara.
Hello.
Hi. I was wondering, out of all the scenes you've shot, what has been your favorite, like running gag or just a bit that you've done?
I mean, I always enjoy working with this guy. So we've had a few good kind of longer scenes where it's just me and you doing the whole will they, won't they, break up, make up, fight. No, what are you talking about? Shut the fuck up, Guillermo. Not
my
now,
favorite.
Guillermo. What is it, Guillermo? Can we not do this now, Guillermo? No, I didn't, Guillermo. Stop saying things that I've done, Guillermo. Yeah, I like those. I like those. I like all of them, really. But yeah, those, I guess I feel more like an actor and not just like a goofball. Just,
I think I like that one, the shut the fuck up, because he does that offset. Like I'll be texting him, and it's like, "Where should we have?" We'll be like, "Where should we have dinner?"
shut the
it's
fuck
like,
up.
yeah. And so, like, it was like, I'll recommend something, and I'm like, "I don't think so." And I'm like, "But it has what you want. It has blah, blah, blah. Shut the fuck up." So I like that one because it continues offset. Also, something I think it wasn't in the script. I think you improvised this fucking guy. I think he made it as a joke one day, like I think you were trying to just think of something to say, and you're like, "This fucking guy," and then it became a thing, and now it's throughout the seasons, which I like, because it was so random and spontaneous and organic, and now it's become like one of Nandor's like iconic catchphrases, and it's evolved into like, "This fucking gal," in that episode, "This fucking gal," "This fucking guy," "These fucking guys," or even with me, "That's my fucking guy." So it's evolved.
Those fucking guys.
Those fucking guys.
Those guys are fucking. No, it's.
Is your show queer?
I get them mixed up.
That's
Thank
it.
you guys so much.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks. You're still there.
A familiar
Naja.
face.
Oh, Nadja, what are you doing here?
I decided to stop by. My name is Fran, and my question is, so you guys talked about doing a lot of takes. Is there like a favorite blooper you have from one of them?
If there is, we've never seen it.
Never see it. They're really big on not showing us the bloopers, and even though I saw a clip of it in the first season, and I almost showed it on the after show that I did Behind the Shadows, the thing we did season 2, I think.
No one saw it.
Oh, no, we wasn't. We almost showed the clip, and at the last minute, I think like FX Legal was like, "You can't show that clip," and I was like, "Why?" Because it has bloopers and stuff, and we're saving it for something. And it's like, okay, maybe they're saving it for like the 25th anniversary DVD. But I know we have a lot of bloopers, and I hate that we can't see them, because in the day of, we have so much fun with them. Like, I can't wait to see. We'll never see it. Or Kayvan has a joke where he's like, "Well, that was really funny." "Yeah, we'll never see it." He did the editing, so he gets the roll, like the film roll, and goes. One day we'll see them. Maybe if all of you had enough. Show us the bloopers. Show us the bloopers. Maybe they will. It's up to you. It's up to you to save us.
Give it the Snyder cut treatment and be like, "Where's the blooper?"
Where's the blooper? Yeah, but we do have a lot of bloopers for sure. Some takes that we think are never going to make it end up making the show.
And they don't.
And then some they don't. But we had a lot of fun on the show, so we're very lucky.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi, Naja.
Hi, my name is Charlie, and your show
Hi.
is obviously primarily a comedy, but it is rooted to a degree in horror. So I was wondering, outside of the realm of vampires, what's your favorite type of horror, or like a favorite underrated horror movie?
Mm.
I mean, the first horror movie I saw that just freaked me the hell out was probably The Fly. It's The Fly, which I love. Thank you. I didn't have anything to do with it. Maybe if they do a reboot of The Fly, man, that could be like Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, you could. I could see that. Yeah. Petition that right now.
What?
I'm gonna petition that to do that.
Okay. So I'm sorry I'm answering this question.
Sorry.
But actually, when I was younger, my friend would always rent Nightmare on Elm Street. I think the third one was the first one. And then we'd go and buy the glove. Like, we'd go to, like, the joke shop and buy the actual glove and be like, yeah, ha, ha. Can't remember any of the quotes, actually. But, yeah, that's mine. Over to you. What? We'll talk about it later. Into the fucking question.
Sorry. I'm just
Sorry
thinking, these are
about
great roles. Like, Kayvan should do these roles. Yeah, I'm a big like horror thriller, like so. But I think the first horror film I saw was like I was pretty young, and well, it was like Chucky. Like I remember like watching Chucky, which is like horror thriller comedy, you know. But that doll scared me. Like I remember like watched Chucky and thinking that could. I think I had dolls in my room and I didn't sleep for a couple of days because I was like, that could happen. That could happen. Yeah. But that's probably the one that I like. I like those ones that make you really scared as a child and it transfers over as trauma as an adult. Thank you for reminding me.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, my name's Tyler, and I know your
Hey,
characters.
Tyler.
Thanks. I know your characters hunt people that play Dungeons and Dragons, but I was just curious if your characters play Dungeons and Dragons, who in the house would be the dungeon master, and what class would your characters play?
Dungeon Master. What is that?
Colin Robinson.
Is that based on the cartoon?
Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, I used to watch that. That one. Isn't that it?
Talking about the game, the
Oh, the
actual
game. I don't know that shit.
That's fine.
Look like a
This is where your
fucking
question
DQ.
just ended. That was too specific for.
I figured that. Thank you, though.
He's gone. He's fucking gone.
He said,
Oh,
it's
come
all right, I
back.
get it, I
Come
understand.
back. You lost your plate. Back off the line. It's okay. We'll get round to you again.
We will no longer be taking Dungeons and Dragons questions.
I feel like as a Dungeons and Dragons enthusiast, it would be funny if it was Colin Robinson because your game would have been so boring that y'all would have just been at the table like, hi there.
Hello, my name is Brad, and the question that I have, you guys obviously have a great team of writers as well as a great group of actors that can improv like nobody's business. So what I was wondering was, do you have any favorite scenes or parts of scenes or bits that didn't make it into the show? Not bloopers, but cool scenes that you thought were really great, but just didn't see the light of day.
I mean, there's always takes that we do where we get to kind of just improvise, and at the end of the day, you're like, oh, that went really well, and then you watch the show and it's not in the show. But I don't know. You know what? Everything, it's so well written, it's so tightly written that by the time we get to we do the read through and then we'll film it maybe 2 weeks after the read through, and it will have gone through 2 or 3 more drafts, and it'll just come down, and get quite tight. And usually on the page, a lot of what you read on the page ends up on screen. Like, the writers are that good that they just nail it really on the page, and they're not like chancing it or hoping that we'll come up with something better. They're an incredible team of writers, honestly. And it's been a joy to just say their words a lot of the time. So yeah. So there's nothing really I'm like, oh, I wish that had made it in. But you're going to contradict me now. Over to you.
I will say, I think my favorite ones are where you don't know how they're gonna look because we don't shoot together. Like when I was thinking about the other day when the curse was one that I wasn't in the house, but I was calling them from the phone, and I don't know how that's gonna edit. So remember, I was with the mosquito hunters in the van, and I was trying to get away in the van or the back of the van to call them. And meanwhile, they thought we had two different storylines happening that we did not know of each other. So they thought that they were being haunted by Bloody Mary, and so the phone rings. And he goes, it's Bloody Mary, you know? And then it goes to answer machine, goes, please leave a message after the doo. And it's me whispering in the phone. It's like, you gotta get out of the house, you gotta get out of the house, or you're gonna die. You know? It's me warning them because I think that the mosquitoes are going to kill them at the house. So I'm warning them, but whispering, and it edited it so well that it sounds like a demonic voice going, you gotta get out of the house right now, you gotta get out of the house, you're gonna die. And then they're like, I didn't get to see them react that way because we weren't in the same scene. So when I get to see that, it's always nice. Like, good thing that we have great directors as well, like Yana and Kyle, who like put it together and it makes sense. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you very much.
We do have about 7 minutes left, so we might try and do lightning round if we can. But we apologize if we can't get to your questions. We will come see them at their booth. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Renee.
Hello.
Hello. Do you guys have a favorite B plot in an episode?
What's a B plot?
There's A plot, B plot. Like, I think that I don't know if it was a B plot. I think it was a B plot, or it could have been lower, I guess. I like the mosquito storyline, the mosquito collectors of the tri-state area. We keep saying that there's such a great idea where like Guillermo's such a different person in front of them. So I like that he was confident. They're like, you're a cool man, Guillermo. And it's like, I'm cool, you know? So in this world, he's so badass. And in the world that he lives in, he's like belittled. And like, so there's two different worlds happening. So I like that, the A storyline and B storyline there.
Totally.
What he said.
Thank you.
Lightning round next.
Yes, I can see you're wearing the fangs, so am I.
Hey,
And I was
nice.
wondering, in that vein, if either of you have any exceptionally funny or horrifying stories involving makeup or prosthetic effects.
I didn't really have to wear many prosthetics in the show. Did you?
No, it's all natural.
What about the episode where you kept wishing your face would change?
Oh yeah.
yeah.
No, there was that. No, it was all pretty pleasant, really. There's nothing too
You forgot about that, didn't you?
too crazy. Yeah, I did actually. Thanks for reminding me. There was nothing that really sticks out in my mind, honestly.
Fair enough.
I think some of the vampires have mentioned that after time your teeth grow different, like you're always growing, and they had to get different molding of their fangs, right?
Yeah.
That was another one where like every other year maybe you have to get your different fangs molding. Because when I got mine, like even by the end I was like, oh, that feels different. And I was like, yeah, your teeth shift. And I was like, okay. What? That's it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Next question, lightning round.
Hi, I'm Sophia, and
Hello.
and I was wondering what was the hardest like personality to pull off during the I don't know exactly what to call it, the cape episode where you were trying to
A duplication?
yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, they were all quite challenging. I guess the worst bit of it was having to do it in front of the people I was imitating. So,
Not everyone.
you know, doing Laszlo in front of Matt and doing Colin Robinson in front of Mark and doing. I never actually did. I do you in front of?
I wasn't, but you did it for me because
I did it for you.
You
Yeah.
wanted to hear how I would say that line, so I said it as Guillermo.
Big mistake.
Well, because Guillermo talks in a softer tone. You know, Guillermo's always very soft-spoken. He barely raises his voice louder than a soft whisper, you know, because he's always afraid of them. So he never talks full voice.
Quick, yeah.
Yeah.
But fast.
But he talks fast.
And then, you know, Natasha's was so bad that they just got her to do it.
It was because she has a higher register pitch. She's female, so her voice is higher, and Kayvan's is a low voice, so he couldn't mimic it ideally. So that's why they had to do it. Oh my gosh. That's it. That's Natasha. That sounds like Natasha. But he did such a great job.
The guide as well, yeah. Those two, I got an F.
People thought that they thought that Matt Berry did that voice and Mark and myself, but that was all Kayvan. He's a master of voices. Like he did all the guys' voices, so it was great. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi, I'm Kira.
Hi.
Something that's very cool
in the show for me is how both of you and several of your cast members speak your heritage languages as actors. And I was wondering if you've had like an opportunity to do that in your previous work, or how did that feel on set? Because sort of like the queer themes in the show, it's not...
The show's queer?
Yeah. I'm just finding out today too, but like it's something, it seems very natural, and it's not something you get to see in a lot of media.
I mean, that was down to the writers, really, to give me that opportunity to do, to speak Farsi, because my heritage is Iranian. So for them to write that in, and I'm seeing my ancestors, even though I'm from Al-Qaladar, it's all kind of based on like Farsi language. So that was a real treat. And then, having kind of members of the Iranian community kind of reach out and go, "Oh, I loved it when you said that, it's incredible." It's like, yeah, man. So, yeah, all more power to the writers for giving me that opportunity.
Yeah, it was nice to do it because you don't get to do it a lot, and other stuff. And throwing those words in means a lot to someone who, even last season, throwing a song that was so specific to like Latina culture, like "No te metas con mi cucu," like that song. If you know that song, you're like, what? But if you know it, you know it. If you don't, you don't. But it's because it's such a cultural thing. So throwing that was really nice, and have people come up to like, that song, I used to help my mom clean the house when we were doing that song. I was like, me too.
But they did fuck up your tamales, didn't they?
Yeah, but it's
Tamales?
tamales. Yeah, it's just nice to like see your culture represented on screen sometimes, because for so long we haven't been, and that goes across the board for any POC, any person of color that is not represented for so long, queer people, and for so long, people of size. Like, there's just so many like things that this show checks off. It's so nice, and I'm so happy to be a small part of that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, I think this is going to have to be our last one today. So one more question, and if they didn't get to you, it was my bad. Please come see them at the booth.
See us at our booth.
I was too talkative.
Lightning round. You're not allowed to think about this one. All right, you have 10 seconds. What would the best remake or reboot of an 80s or 90s movie be with just the cast? Not allowed to think. Go. First thing that came
The
to
Breakfast Club.
What he said.
Back to the Future.
Perfect.
St. Elmo's Fire.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you so much, both of you, for joining me. It was really a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Everybody give it up one more time for Kayvan, Novak, and Harvey Guillen.